A lot of my customers have been wondering how we cut the fabric. So I've been told that I should do a video. And the funny thing is, every time I do a trade show or a quilt show or any type of show, I often have people come to the booth and just stand there and watch me cut. Our technique is really different from any other fabric shop, and one actually that I'm pretty proud of, but I can't fully take credit for it. My assistant Olivia, she is one of my younger girls. She just turned 19 actually. She is my local lead cutting assistant. And one day last spring she came to work with binder clips, binder clips. And I'm like, what are you going to do with binder clips? She said, well, I'm tired of holding the fabric down and worrying about it shifting. Because you see, in our shop, sometimes when we get a pre-order in, if it's 500 yards, we have to unroll these bolts very quickly, start to finish, and then look at our spreadsheets and cut up the sides and see how many cuts it is that we need to make. So when you want to roll the bolt out quickly, it obviously takes way less time to do that if you have the edge clipped down. So that's what I'm going to do. The first thing I'm going to do is roll this entire bolt off. This is actually not a true 15-yard bolt. I've made several cuts from it already. I've been doing what we call triaging, which in our world means the same thing that it does in the medical world. We have 911 fabric lists every day for moms who need a special order rushed out, especially when we have a longer ship time because we had several pre-orders arrive all at once, or if there were extenuating circumstances such as weather that prevented the girls from getting to work, a show, like I just got back from one last week, my kid's sick, they were sick last week and one this week, anything. There are so many things that affect how a shop runs. And for any of you who are work-at-home moms or stay-at-home moms, you completely understand this. And when we get in our groove, if one person is not here for any reason, it messes up that groove. But life happens. So anyway, long story short, I've already made some cuts from this bolt, but we did sell this line down to the inch. And so I need to roll it out and see how much I have left because I have a mom who literally wants the last piece, whether it's a remnant, full half yard, whatever the case may be, she wants the last piece. This is actually from Michael Miller, one of my favorite companies in the world to work with. My rep's name is Mark Jacobs. No, not the Mark Jacobs you're thinking of. And then my New York City contacts is Jennifer Fardella, and they are just a powerhouse team for me. I love them dearly. We can't get any more of this specific print until the end of May, if I remember correctly, as well as some of the other prints in the line, the colorways, I should say. They're gone. So that makes it even more important to measure out and see how much we have left. So that's what I'm going to do. This line right here is my 36-inch line, and I just try to get really as spot on close to it as I can. And the other really important thing is that all of my edges line up here and here. Otherwise, it's not actually a true cut. If I'm really, really worried, I will actually clip down both sides here. Some fabric is, I don't want to say slinky. It's not really the right word. But it's just harder to lay down and stay there, so to speak. So if you're dealing with one of those, it is nice to just keep clipping it down and clipping it down. Now, if you're working with knit fabric or fleece or anything that is thicker than cotton woven fabric, you might have to use Wonder Clips. Love those things. Best invention ever. I use them a lot when I'm working on my embroidery machine to applique a shirt for the boys. And the Wonder Clips just are fabulous to hold the shirt out of the way. They work way better than straight pins. I don't even know why I ever thought straight pins were a good idea because, yes, I used to do that. I don't anymore. Anyway, so if I had a really thick fabric, that I needed to use something to clip it down, I would probably just go in the other room and grab my Wonder Clips from where my embroidery machine supplies are and do that. Ever so often, Olivia and I, she's my only cutting assistant right now, we actually have a really hard time finding people that can cut accurately the way we do it and quickly without mistakes. And quality control is such a big deal to me because, well, I mean, obviously I got my reputation in the fabric market for a reason. And so right now I don't even think Olivia and I want to hire somebody else to work with us. So, and if you notice, just now when I pulled another roll off the bolt, it kind of tugged it. And so now I have to go back and fix this edge again. And the reason it does that is because on the, when you get down to the bottom of the bolt, oh my gosh, you would not believe how messy the very beginning and the very ends of the bolts can be. It's actually ridiculous. I don't even really understand it, but it gets really bunched up here at the end of the bolt. So if you ever get a really wrinkled cut, just assume you were the first or the last cut on a bolt. No matter what fabric shop you're purchasing from, I can guarantee you that that's the case. Because I think when the warehouses roll these bolts, or well, actually they start with tubes. They roll the tubes onto the machines to put them on the bolts, and I'm guessing what we can think is when they yank it off the machine, that's what makes the end so wonky. But sometimes the first cut on the bolt, I mean, straight doesn't even begin to define it. And then when you get down to the end of the bolt, the same thing applies. We throw things a lot. And it's kind of a joke. If you haven't gotten hit by a flying cardboard bolt in my shop yet, you've not been inducted as an employee. Obviously, that's a joke. I don't regularly hit my employees, but it is kind of funny because if we're just standing here rolling off a bolt and we're done, then it just gets tossed, and we just make sure there's no child in the way yet at that point. So I'm done here, and I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 10 yards here. Then I have an 11th full yard here, and then I have basically 29 inches. So this bolt is 7 inches short. Because with the number of cuts that I made already, I should have had 12 full yards. And I only have 11 yards plus 29 inches. And that happens a lot, unfortunately, in this market. It does happen quite a bit. So actually, I'm going to have to go back, grab that bolt, write down the SKU number for Jennifer, and call her tomorrow. And she'll get me a refund for those 7 inches. And then she usually, or her last email, she told me, she said, you know, she needs to know the SKU number so that they can go look at the machine that was used for this bolt and see if it needs to be recalibrated. So they're really thorough. Okay, what I'm going to do is pause the movie and go get my laptop. And I'm going to write down the cuts that I need to finish from this. And then I'll show you guys how we actually cut this into our pieces.